Here you see the orthographic and the isometric drawing, so you get a visual of what we are going to create. We're going to use commands such as boundary, region, extrude, and union. Let's begin. Given the file of the orthographic of the V Block drawing, either the one you downloaded or created in a previous class, start here. We are going to work with the top view. We're going to extrude this section here up a height of 2 inches, and we're going to extrude these two sections here up 1 inch. Then we'll union them together. We will use this feature here and these settings up here in order to view this as a three-dimensional object. We can go to 3D Basics, change the interface of AutoCAD to use the three-dimensional commands we see above. If you're using AutoCAD 2016, those options should still be available. We're going to be using commands by typing them in, so the type of interface you use is not extremely important. Just wanted to show you where it is. First thing we're going to do is turn this section into a region or a boundary. There's two different commands we can use. One is called region, R-E-G-I-O-N. You select objects to create a region. If the objects are connected together, this command region will work. If they overlap, as you see here, it will not. As you can see, it made a region of the exterior shape as opposed to the interior one, when I was just trying to create one from inside. Let me undo that command. Let's try the other command, which is called boundary. Boundary. What this does is it wants to try and find a space internally within objects. So if I click here, you can see a dashed line and it found a boundary. So I'll hit enter. Having a boundary, an object here, you cannot see it, but it is there. If I click, you can see that boundary. We are going to extrude that boundary, the height of the object, which is 2. Extrude is right here. Because we're going to work in 3 dimensions, looking at this from the top view is not beneficial to us. So we click on the house or the home, and it'll rotate to a left front top orientation. The one I do like is the top front right, which is what we use most commonly in the United States. So there's that boundary. It's currently selected, so I'll click extrude. If it's not selected, you could pick extrude first, select the boundary, as you can see it's right there, and hit enter. And then you can see you have control of the shape. When you're going to pull it up and type in a distance, we'll type in 2. And this is a solid object. To see its qualities, we need to leave 2D wireframe and choose any of these other options. As you see me doing here. Now if you try and extrude and this box does not appear, I'll explain why. Let me delete this. Let me pick extrude. Let me pick what I think is a boundary. Hit enter, and I pull up and I get a thin feature. This is not the same thing. This is considered a wireframe, and unfortunately it's not what we want. So if you create something that's not supposed to be there, as this wireframe, just delete and repeat the steps. Boundary. Pick points. Pick an internal point. Finds one. Extrude. Pick the edge of the boundary. If you have problems picking the edge of the boundary, you could also type in L for last, L enter, and it'll pick the last feature. Pull up and type in 2. Now make a boundary on the either end and repeat the process. Boundary on this side. Created one there. I'll extrude that. Notice I'm typing in L, enter, to pick the last thing I picked, and then enter again. Point up, and the height of this feature, in case you forgot, it's right there, it's 1. type in 1. Repeat that on the other side, boundary. Extrude, L for last, enter, enter again, point up, type in 1, enter. Let's add some realistic imagery to it. It appears like we're finished, but we are not. These features are still separate from each other. I could move it apart, for example, and indicate that. We need to make it a solid object. In order to make this one solid object, the command is called union. Pick union, select your 3 features, click enter, and it unions the pieces together. Once a union is created, that's the final step of a 3-dimensional object. You can't reverse that process unless you use the undo command to return back to its original state. If we move this final object, you will see it's a solid piece. The reason why it says color is because our layer is white. If we change this layer color, we can give it other appearances quite easily. Alright, that's the end of this video.